What is going on, guys? I'm your host, Beau. Welcome back to Movie Stalkers, and here is my spoilers review for Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Now, again, this is a spoilers review, so if you've not seen Rogue One: A Star Wars Story yet, I recommend not watching this video. Go watch my non-spoiler review, and if you have seen my non-spoiler review, you will know that I did give the film an 8.5 out of 10, but I have actually changed my score for the film, which will be exclusive to this review. So wait till the end of this review to know what my new score is for Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. But I also want to kind of apologize for that non-spoiler review because I feel like that non-spoiler review didn't really give a clear perspective of how I felt about the film. Mainly because I was trying so hard not to spoil things in Rogue One, because there's a lot of things that I want to say, but it had to go into spoiler territory. So now I can go into full spoilers and I can just give you guys a clear explanation of how I felt about the film, as well as giving you a new rating for the film itself. So, again, this is a spoilers review, so if you've not seen Rogue One, please leave because I'm about to say some spoilers, and don't come in the comments saying that you got spoiled because you didn't see the movie. This is a spoilers review, just let you know in advance. So here we go. So yes, the entire team of Rogue One does die. The entire team does die. This was a rumor that was being speculated on the internet for a few months, and I personally thought that it wasn't real. I thought that maybe a few of the members might die, but then when I thought about it, it made sense why they had to die, mainly because why would Jyn Erso or K2SO or Donnie Yen's character, why would any of these characters exist in this time frame, like during the first Star Wars? They don't, because you don't see them, and they were never mentioned. So the best way to finish those characters off is to just mainly kill them off. So makes sense, and I feel like their overall purpose was fulfilled, because what they were mainly there to do, it was to get the Death Star plans and give them to the rebels, and they fulfilled their purpose because, well, obviously they had to, because they had to set up Star Wars 1977, or as most of you call it, Star Wars: A New Hope. I personally like to call it Star Wars 1977 because that's what it was originally called, so I'm calling it Star Wars. But I do love, the one thing that I loved the most about this movie was the third act of this movie, and mainly the ending, because it sets up A New Hope right there perfectly. You got the rebels fighting Darth Vader. You've got the rebels passing the Death Star plans to each individual rebel. They finally get to this woman in a nice dress. And if that sounds familiar, that's because it is in fact Princess Leia. Now, when I saw that, I was, I had a fanboy moment. I was like, oh my god, Princess Leia. But then I realized that you kind of needed Princess Leia for this movie. If you want to finally give off the point that this is going to set up the first Star Wars movie, it would make sense why Princess Leia is there. And I do like that her face looks like her from 1977. Of course, they're not going to bring Carrie Fisher to do Princess Leia because she's old now, and it would make sense for the story. So what they did is that they took a woman that has the same physical structure as Princess Leia, or Carrie Fisher was in 1977, put on the classic outfit, and then rendered a CGI face of Princess Leia from 1977. And I gotta say, it looked pretty good, for what it looked like in the film, and it served its purpose, like Princess Leia, and it was a nice little cherry on the top for the entire movie. The other thing that I really liked about the movie was just the team. The team I thought was pretty good. I thought that they all smoothly just made it into the team. No one just felt rushed and crammed into the team. They all just smoothly came together. There's not one person where they just had to show up. It was just all these characters just fluently just came in, and that was good. The two characters I thought were great, and I said it again in my non-spoilers review, was K2SO and Donnie Yen's character. K2SO, his death scene was very, very impactful. I thought he had a very, very sad death scene because he's helping out Captain Andor and, of course, Jyn Erso to get the Death Star plans, and he's fighting all these stormtroopers, and he's telling Captain Andor and And Jyn Erso that, you know, like, you like, get the Death Star plans and then blah, 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 you know, like, casual death speech, and then he just dies. But the way he dies, I think it's just kind of sad, and it's very, you know, kind of, not emotional, but it's very sad to see that character just go off, because I really did enjoy that character. I thought he was a really cool character, and I really wish that we could see more of him, but, you know, he served his purpose for the story of Rogue One. Donnie Yen was also a really cool character. I didn't want to spoil like what he was because I didn't think the trailers really gave it away. But what Donnie Yen's character mainly is that he is a person that believes in the Force. He is a believer of the Force, or as his slogan is in the film. His slogan is let me try to remember what his slogan is. Oh yeah. I am one with the Force is with me. That is his slogan, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be memes out there with that slogan. I already see it. Twitter, Facebook, everyone's going to be abusing that slogan, but go with it, because I think that's pretty much what its purpose is. But it's a nice little slogan. I did like that, and it added to his character. And his death scene was pretty cool. Like, you just see what happens is that he's like at the final battle, and, you know, of course he's trying to help out Jyn Erso and Captain Andor get the plans of the Death Star, and he has to pull a lever to send a signal to bring a signal frequency, I believe, to the rebels. And you see him just walking through all the firepower from the stormtroopers, and he's like saying like, "I'm one with the Force is with me," and keep repeating that like 5 times or so. He finally pulls that lever. He starts walking back to his friend, and then boom, he just blows up and he dies. And it's really, the thing I liked about this movie is that it's very war. It has a nice war vibe, which I did like, because, you know, when they die, it feels like it's something that happened in a war movie, like, you know, the soldiers going out into war, into battle, and then, like, all of a sudden, boom, one of those death scenes just happened, like natural warfare. So, I did like that, and it just makes sense for this movie because it's, you know, during the time of where the wars of Star Wars were primarily starting. And, you know, it's obviously, again, it's a prequel / spin-off to A New Hope, so it makes sense that it's so warlike and so gritty. And, of course, Darth Vader is in the movie, and I thought he was just going to have one scene, and that was it. And he actually had multiple scenes. Like, he had one with the main protagonist, Ben Mendelsohn, I believe his name, who plays the main villain. He did a pretty good job. I didn't really talk to him about that much in the non-spoiler review, but I thought he did a pretty good job for a villain. He didn't really have much of a purpose, but he did a pretty good job for the most part. So, pretty good. But Darth Vader, I feel like he had a pretty good premise, like a pretty good presence as well in the movie. One scene with Ben Mendelsohn and Darth Vader I thought was really cool, and then of course the ending scene with him fighting off those rebels, I thought that was really cool. Him pulling out his lightsaber, he's out in the dark shadows, you hear him like breathing, and all of a sudden his lightsaber pops out. I thought that was a very, very nice little touch for him, so I thought that was really cool. And trying to think if there's anything else. Of course, you know, there's cameos and references in this movie. Like, obviously, you have C-3PO and R2-D2 that have cameos in this movie, which I thought was really cool. It was like a nice little cameo that just shows up out of nowhere. And then the references to Princess Leia and the showing of Princess Leia, and a reference to Obi-Wan Kenobi. You actually get to see like a statue of Obi-Wan Kenobi, like a rock formation of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then a reference from a character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie for the most part, guys. I mean, there was a lot of really cool things that I didn't expect to see in Rogue One, and it pretty much did what I wanted to see. It set up A New Hope perfectly, in my opinion, and had some pretty cool characters, and the way those characters paid off at the end made sense. And I think the acting was pretty good. The only gripe that I had about the film, and I said it in my non-spoilers review, was the first act of this film just felt a little rushed, and I felt like it should have been a little bit slower paced to keep up with the rest of the pace of the other 2 acts. But overall, guys, I was pretty impressed with Rogue One. I had to say it was a pretty good film, and my score actually changed for Rogue One. In my non-spoilers review, I gave it an 8.5 out of 10, but now, thinking about it and actually letting it sink in, I'm now going to give it a 9 out of 10. Mainly because, my only gripe is the first act, but the second and third act are very, very solid. I think that they're very, very solid acts, and again, it sets up A New Hope perfectly in my opinion. Darth Vader was great, the cameos were great, the characters were on point, and K2SO and Donnie Yen were just hands down the best characters in Rogue One. And yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's an A-. I highly recommend you guys watching Rogue One. And also, the question that you guys have been asking me, is Rogue One better than The Force Awakens? Now, I love The Force Awakens. I absolutely love The Force Awakens. I've seen it like millions of times on Blu-ray. I gotta say, just thinking about it for the past few days, I'm gonna go ahead and say that Rogue One gets the slight edge over The Force Awakens, mainly because Rogue One has something The Force Awakens didn't, and that is, it has a kind of an original story. It has a brand new story, brand new characters that impact, how do I say it? It has, like, The Force Awakens is, A New Hope 2.0. Rogue One is a new story that sets up A New Hope. So that's what I think was cool. And I think that the characters in Rogue One were just also more impactable to the story for Star Wars. Of course, like Rey and Finn are going to be sets up for the new trilogy. But for the core Star Wars trilogy, the Rogue One team had a big impact because of them getting the Death Star plans. Rey and Finn, on the other hand, I don't feel that much concern for those characters because they're so powerful. I mean, you saw Rey literally take out Kylo Ren. You saw Finn being a great guy with a gun and actually wielding a lightsaber at one point. And with the Rogue One team, you actually saw them get hurt and actually die. So I just feel like Rogue One had a lot more story and a lot more things to offer than The Force Awakens did, and I think that it was just a lot more impactable and a lot more surprising and entertaining for me, honestly. But that's just my opinion. I mean, maybe you guys like The Force Awakens more. Would you guys let me know in the comments section below? Did you guys like The Force Awakens more than Rogue One, or did you like Rogue One better than Force Awakens? And also let me know what your favorite scene from Rogue One was. Did you like Darth Vader? Did you like that Princess Leia cameo? And did you like the Obi-Wan reference? And also, let me know, do you think Rogue One can get a sequel? Honestly speaking, I don't think it really deserves a sequel. Not saying the movie is not great, but I think that it's a perfect standalone movie, and I don't think it really needs a sequel because it pretty much sums up the story in the first movie, and I don't think a sequel is really needed. But you guys let me know. Do you guys think it deserves a sequel? And if you had to give this movie out of 10, what would you give it and why? And that's it for my spoilers review for Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. If I didn't say anything particular in my spoilers review that you want to talk about, let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Google Plus page. And that's pretty much it for this spoilers review for Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, as we end these videos, Beau out. See you next time. Peace.